Hello, everyone. Welcome to an impromptu episode of Columns Stream. Today, we're going to be speaking to Joel Elemchukwu. Joel is based out of Port Harcourt in Rivers State in Nigeria. And we've been working with Joel on some great brand identity projects over the past few months. And I figured it'd be nice to get him on a call and get his thoughts on some of the aspects and processes of design. Joel, welcome to the show. It's good to have you here.
Thank you. It's good to be on here with you as well.
So I jump right into our very first question. What do most brands get wrong about brand identity design?
Two that stands out for me is one, not wanting to stand out, and I'll explain. And the second one is choosing aesthetics over purpose. So let me go to the first one, which is not wanting to stand out. A lot of brands, in terms of doing maybe their market analysis or their competitive research, trying to see who is in their field with them or who their competitors are, they tend to pick out a lot of similarities, right? Instead of looking for a way to make themselves different in the industry. You want to follow the trend in the industry, but you need to look for a way to disassociate yourself from what they already have. And this is one thing the fintech company in Nigeria, this microfinance banks, they are trying to do, and I like it a lot. Before now, we could barely see any microfinance bank use, or any bank at all, any finance sector use the color purple, but Kuda came out and they used it, and it's good for them. So the second one is choosing aesthetics over purpose. Sometimes when working with some of these brands, you have a color theory based on what their core values are, what their clientele is, what their whole mission and purpose is for the brand, to pick out colors from these things. But sometimes they come out with their own colors. They say, I have this color because it's one of my favorite colors, but it's not serving a purpose. This is just aesthetic. You cannot be using certain colors for certain type of brands. You cannot be using black for a food brand. You can if you add some other vibrant colors to it, but using black as primary color for a food brand, especially when you're selling healthy food, I don't think it's going to work properly.
One of the main goals, I would say, of brand design is you want something to stand out in the sea of other brands. And so not wanting to stand out defeats the purpose in it.
Yeah.
So when you're thinking through a brand identity design process, what's your general mental approach?
I tend to follow the 5 steps, but I don't end up going round in circles. So when I get a design brief, the first thing that comes to my mind is knowing what the brand stands for, their core values, their goals, their mission, their purpose, so that we can be able to communicate effectively. So the first one is research. Find out about the brand, find out about their competitors, find out about the industry they're in, what has been there, who are the major players in the industry, and what they have that is working for them. So we do not just copy, we don't copy, we see what they've done and we pick from them to make our own distinct identity. So that's the first one. The first process is research. The second one is to ideate, coming up with sketches. What are the marks that can work for this particular brand? What are the marks that can make it stand out, that has a good meaning and a deep connection with the brand, so that they can be able to tie their whole purpose to that particular mark. So that is the second one, which is ideation. The third one is to design. This is where I open up Adobe Illustrator or whatever design software I'm using. I make the designs, make the sketches come alive and all that. And the fourth is to apply and test. Based on a couple of projects we've worked on, I might have seen the sections where I write mock-ups, and so we try to test them on real life scenarios, more like prints, on publicity materials, on product packagings as well. And the fifth one is to iterate. Your first design mark or logo mark will never be the last, because the client also has some modifications they will want to do if it's in line with what they already envisioned or not. You take back the client's feedback, get it done. So that is it. The first one is to research, second is to ideate, the third is to design, the fourth is to apply or test, then the last one is to iterate.
It's quite defined this way, although of course I imagine when you're doing the process, it may not be so linear. So what's a myth around brand identities that you've come to realize isn't true? Something that most people in the design industry still believe.
I say a good logo does not equate a good brand.
That's very true.
It doesn't equate a good brand. Post on LinkedIn recently where I talked about how the packaging and design of a product made me pick it over the others on the counter. Oh, imagine I take it based on what it looks like, the packaging, the logo, or the colors, and how attractive it is, right? Then I get back home and I taste it and it's total rubbish. It does not solve the problem, especially for brands that have customer problems, they have service problems, they have product problems. So they come back with, I want to rebrand, I want a new logo, I want a brand refresh, whatever. And forget to solve the fundamentals, right? The things that are causing the marketing problems. Your logo mark is just for identity so that they can be able to tell which is your brand when there are varieties of products on the counter. So yeah, fix your brand and your logo will always work for you. Even if you use dots, it will always work.
I find that it's very common, especially among some larger companies where they feel like doing some sort of a change to their logo is going to stop all the complaints and all the bad Google reviews that have been coming in over the years. What's a cool brand you've worked on recently and what did you enjoy about it?
Okay, already, which is Q, right? When I was doing the whole ideation and all that, the particular mark we chose, that one, something that I loved a lot because I was trying to represent the earthy and natural feel the brand is supposed to be, right? Putting that circle underneath the U and making it look as if it's a seed in the ground that is trying to sprout out or whatever it is. That was, I don't know, it's something that stood out for me. And sometimes when you make a design, you go back and look at it and I'm like, oh God, I can design.
That's cool to hear. So how should designers stay visible to potential clients? What have you tried yourself?
The one that tops the list is client referrals. It always works, especially when you know what you're doing. Once you get a job, you give it your all. If you can ask for referrals, please do. Here are some other tips I could also give. It's number one, leveraging on social media. The third one is to collaborate with designers and non-designers. Because non-designers can get you more jobs than even designers because we are all also hustling for jobs as well. So collaborating with both designers and non-designers will also help you. These are like the three I would mention. Collaboration with designers and non-designers, leveraging on social media, and number one, client referral.
So to recap, most brands get wrong about brand identity design, not wanting to stand out and choosing aesthetics over purpose. When thinking through a brand identity process, you go through the research and then ideation, then design, then application and testing, and then iteration. The myth around brand identities is that a good logo doesn't equate to a good brand. The product itself still needs to solve a problem well. And designers can stay visible by getting client referrals and putting 1,000% of their effort into the job so they can get that referral. Leveraging social media to get seen as number two, and then collaborating with designers and non-designers because sometimes the non-designers can get you more jobs than the designers themselves.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Joel. I've been speaking to Joel Elemchukwu, a brand designer and creative based out of Rivers State, Nigeria. We'll catch you guys again next time.
Thank you for having me.